Hey everybody, this is Mr. Onesto, and you get to listen to my angelic voice again. Um, we're going to start digital art, and to do that, there's several steps you need to take. Now, being COVID-19 lesson, there may be some limitations at home. One, you do need the internet while you work for this program. I am going to search if there's some offline programs, and don't worry, there'll be an alternative lesson. But today we're just learning how to get to the program and how to mess around with it. This can be done on the Chromebook, and it can also be done on a desktop computer. What you do, or what you should probably have, is at least a mouse. I will be using a mouse and a Wacom tablet, bamboo tablet, to draw on, so you can kind of see what I'm doing with it. If you see your screen, you should see the site you need to go to, and notice the word old, because they've changed how the current one looks, and you can play with the new one. I don't know it as well, so I can't answer as many questions, and I will look at it during this time too. But we're going to just start off with the old, and I will have this link put in your Google Classroom, and if you're somebody who's not in my Google Classroom, you just type that in, and probably the first thing you're going to get is this Flash player thing. Don't click on anything here. Just avoid that. Go to this lock right here. You see my cursor? Just click that lock, and now normally it'll say Flash player, and you can put yes, and then you click off to the side. This time I'm going to have to go to Site Settings, and I'm just going to go to Flash, and I'm going to do Allow. And I'm going to click back and hit Reload. Now sometimes you'll get where it says Adobe Flash, and all you have to do is do the back arrow. And since I'm going to do a new image, I'm not going to do anything from the computer. Many of you might have learned this program with Mr. Sparrow or Mr. Snyder. I'm going to do a little different. And as you can see, I enlarged my picture because I have a very large screen. Over here are ads and stuff. We just ignore them. And I just want you to play around with these tools. And let me just show you a few. I apologize if you get a lot of ums and ands and all that good stuff. I'm trying not to do that, but I am nervous when it comes to talking. Now, I'm using my Wacom tablet, and I'm getting a very strange response. Notice how it corners. And now that's the sketchy pencil, and if you look at this arrow, it'll give you the type of pencil. And the most important one, I think, and I'm having, oops, I had the mouse and the Wacom going at the same time. That's much better when I go to the play. Oh, there we go. I got my angle. So it might be me who's drawing with the mouse also, just to be able to show you something. Go to Paintbrush. Drawing with that, and now I'm doing this with a mouse. As you can see, it's much easier to do. So I'm going to switch over to the mouse here, move my pad out of the way. Up here, you can adjust size. So let's just say I do want to draw with my paintbrush. Yeah, I'm flowing through there. If I want to change the color, let's just say I don't want to do black. I hit this palette. Notice that this does look like a painter's palette. Instead of clicking the black, I'm going to click the white. And I switch the colors when I do that. Now I'm going to click the white, and I'm going to change. You'll get something like this. There's other ways to bring up how you search for your colors. And you can choose which makes more sense to you. This one I'm used to, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm just going to go with the red. What I really like is this gradation, showing you the different tints. And I'm going to go with this darker red right off, and I can draw with that. What's also nice, if I go back and enlarge the brush, I'm going to go with a softer brush, size 50, and you can see I have like a little fuzz like I did before. I'm going to go to the opacity. Let me just show you before I do that. I go over the black, and it goes right over, right? Now, if I take the opacity and lessen it, it becomes more transparent. And if you ever seen like a glow in a digital piece of artwork, this is how you can create that. And I will have a video that shows different examples of what the project's going to be, which is going to have a background, a subject matter. I'll get in more details in the next video. I'll just have a little slideshow that demonstrates that. But what I really want you to do is just play around with the tools. So I got this paint bucket here, and I'm going to just change the color again. I'm going to do a green. And you notice I had to move two things to get that green. Then I hit OK. And I can just drop the paint bucket. That's how I did that. Now the problem with the paint bucket, you sometimes get this white haze. And it's okay for learners and stuff. But if you want to get better at it, you definitely want to work on eliminating that white haze. See this circle and rectangle almost looks like a square? These are your drawing tools. And you can do squares. And notice how I have a green outline and it's filled in with black. That's because I have green here for my line, and I have the fill-in over here. I'm going to go to Edit, Undo. So I can undo something. And by the way, if you go to File, New Image, in case you click out, if you get your screen all gray, which is very common if you're a beginner, you accidentally click out of it, just start again and go from there. Let's see here. I'm going to unfill that. I'm going to switch this and watch what happens when I do a square now. I just get a nice black outline. If you look here, I have different shapes. I can do little stencils that help me, but every time you change your shapes, you got to unfill. And as you work, you won't have to do it each time. You just have to do it once you get started. But there's also a nice line tool. And this is the one I think is very important, because I did have a student one time, she spent days making all these straight lines because she missed that. And she never asked about how to make perfectly straight lines. So she enlarged. Watch what I'm going to do there. Here, if I go to this right here, I can enlarge. And she went through each little square to make that line. See how you can see the pixels? Now on my monitor, the pixels are going to be very, very small. On your Chromebook or the average monitor, they're going to be a lot larger, easier to see. And another thing with this, if you look at the line tool, you can increase the thickness, which would be very nice in case you are like doing a building or doing something like that. And see how that goes? Much thicker, and that's size 14 versus size 1. So all I really want you guys to do is play with the tools, figure out what they are, from finding an eraser, and you can just erase and change size. Now, the tool I do want you to be careful of that can freeze your Chromebook and your desktop computer is the smudging tool. Depending on the speed of your internet, this is the smudging tool, and it's like a dirty smudger too. Usually a smudging tool is more like a blender, but this thing takes everything. Kind of nice if you got to make clouds and stuff, and I'll talk about that. But be careful of it, because if you go really fast, it'll freeze your computer, and you got to wait till each smudge is done before you can even move your cursor. So be aware of your smudging tool. The sponge tool, You notice that it kind of cleans it. And my green's getting a little brighter. Takes all the dirt away. See that? And just investigate each tool. And you'd be surprised what you can do with it. But you also got to be careful. You do something you don't like, don't forget you can hit edit, undo. Does this make sense? So for the next 2 days, and a day for an art lesson incorporates 45 minutes. So I want you to spend like 90 minutes over a course of 2 days just playing with it. And you can do a course a lot longer than that. And if you've had experience, you already kind of know what to play with. And so the next video will be examples of what you're going to do. You're going to have a lot of success, and I'm going to show you some examples of students who struggled. And that'll be it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure you email me or message me in Google Classroom. If you're not in my Google Classroom, just send me an email, and I will get that answer to you. And if you need video conferencing, let's set up a time, and I can walk you through it. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Bye-bye.